Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now, as he does on Wednesday mornings, our good friend John Wagner. Find him on Twitter at John Wagner Media. Johan, my good man, member of the National Football Foundation and Football Writers Association of America. How are you this morning? Has the dust settled at all? Do you feel more relaxed? What's going on over there? How you been? How was your weekend?
Oh, Anthony, if we would have talked Sunday, your head would have exploded. My head would have exploded. Now I'm calmer a little. I am still a little slice of heaven. But I can I start you off with a question?
Absolutely.
Remind me, if you would be so kind. Last year, at the end of the Lions season, in week 17, whatever it is, the final week of the regular season, they play Green Bay, they win, but they do not make the playoffs.
Correct.
What was your reaction to that? I mean, were you angry that they didn't make it? Angry that they were, even though they were the best team in the league at the time, they didn't get a chance? What was your reaction to that?
Well, Seattle had won earlier in the day. Who'd they beat that day? Would they beat the LA
Doesn't
Rams?
matter. I remember.
Well, it absolutely does matter because Seattle beat us, and that's the reason that we didn't get in is because they won that football game, so we were eliminated. But we did have the opportunity to knock Green Bay out of the playoffs and end the year on a high note at 8-2. We did exactly that. That carried over immediately into this season, and through the first 3 quarters of the season, each quarter this team has gone 3-1. So we got a lot of good things to look forward to.
Stop! Don't care about this season. Remind me how you felt. Whatever that date was in January or late December.
Yeah, January.
When the Lions saw that, okay, duly noted. I do not follow the NFL. I watched the Lions this Thanksgiving. I'm done with them. I let them fool me again and think they're a good team. They're not. I'm stopping. But deep breath, John. Last year, when that last game was played, again, remind me, just in that moment, were you mad, or did you feel they had been victimized not getting in the playoffs? Were you sanguine? Did you realize, you know what, we didn't deserve to be in the playoffs, and we're not? So what was your reaction? End of season.
I think my reaction was disappointed. I mean, because that's, you have the New York Giants who they went on the road and beat, and they got in because they had a tie. But, hey, a tie, not as good as a win, still not as bad as a loss. Just the way that things had shaken out, I was pretty happy with the overall outcome of the season. It would have been awesome to make the playoffs in year 2 for Dan Campbell, but I mean, you didn't make the playoffs because you didn't finish in the top 7, and that's what it takes. Win your division or the top three wild cards, and they fell short of that. So you live with the results and you build for next year.
Okay, and then by finishing in the top 7, that was determined by
overall record.
Yeah, thank you. I got it. I'm going to tell you that last Sunday was just one of the worst days in the history of college football.
I was working so hard right now to set you up because I thought you were going the other direction. So this is a massive – I mean, I thought fastball was coming. I look like – Javi Baez at a curveball just now. I mean, I'm down on one knee. My ankle's twisted. The bat fell out of my hand. My helmet came off. I mean, whoa. John, are you about to say what I think you're about to say? I'm sorry for interrupting you, but just so the listeners knew, like I was trying to walk you down a path, and you went right where I was like, I'm floored right now. What are you about to say?
That in the one sport where the regular season meant everything. This year, the regular season, apparently, judging by the committee's rankings of teams, apparently the breadth of a 14-week season means nothing. We're going to judge it based on, well, in my little eye, I think this team is better than that team. So I'm going to rank them here as opposed to there. Forget that one team is undefeated and another team has a loss. I don't care that they have a loss. I think they're better. So your reaction to that is?
My reaction to this has been all day long, all last night and all day throughout Sunday. Before, and I guess not all day because the show was on at noon. But I had Michigan 1, and I wouldn't have been mad if they would have put Washington at 1. Didn't matter to me. But 1 and 2 were Michigan and Washington. I had,
as they should be.
Yeah,
as they should be. And you're right. Whatever order, no argument.
That didn't matter to me. I had Florida State in firmly at number 3, and then I had Texas in at number 4. And what we saw from that committee on Sunday is a complete travesty. It is the sport of college football, in my opinion, has always been broken with the BCS and with voters and with a 4-team college football playoff when 130-plus teams are playing D1 football. The whole thing has always been a sham. You don't just get to pick and choose who is the best team. You have to go play for it. You could have been the best team all season. We saw with the New England Patriots. You weren't the best team on that day. And that's what makes championships special, is you have to be able to do it in the playoffs. We are a playoff-driven society here in the Western world. We love playoffs. The fact that this committee decided to put Alabama in at 4, Georgia at 6, and Florida State at 5, and leave the Florida State Seminoles an undefeated champion is just, it's absolutely preposterous. I mean, to me, there's no coming back from this.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
I don't know. I don't know how.
It goes against the history of the sport. I can't believe we're sitting in the same. We're in the same car, driving the same direction. This is absurd. This is absurd.
And I was so ready for you, John.
Texas,
I was ready for you because I was like, okay, I'm going to bring up Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady, Cardale Jones being a third-string quarterback, winning it all. Like, I was, and then, you came in and swung that left hook. I'm like, yeah, we're in accordance here. Like, Florida State got screwed. And the fact that their quarterback, Jordan Travis, took to Twitter and said, I wish I would have broken my leg earlier in the season so everybody would know we were more than just one person. Like, what a pathetic excuse of football minds this committee is. Like, I mean, this is, what Florida State should do is they should go to the Orange Bowl, which is where they're supposed to go for Georgia, go to that, reap all the rewards of being there, take the trip, walk out for warm-ups, just like Danny Cannell said, and turn around and walk right back in and go right back home before the game even starts. Suck them dry of all the money they put into this. But guess what? Double bird, we're out. We're out.
You'll get to pay all that money back if you don't play the game.
So what?
I understand the point of it, and Florida State could probably afford to do it. But here's what's bothering me.
Stick them, John.
Well, hey, everybody's got their own conscience. My point would be this. Everyone who's saying that Texas and Alabama are clearly better than Florida State, clearly, and I mean this clearly, have not watched the course of the season. Okay? If you remember early in the year, I thought that Florida State was a pretender. Okay? Because I had watched them struggle to beat Boston College, and I had watched them struggle to beat somebody else early in the year after they had started with a very big win over LSU. Okay? And I wondered, is the balloon going to burst? They could have very easily been beaten by Clemson. But they never were. They never were. Whereas Texas has got a head-on loss to Oklahoma and also has those other marring parts of their schedule. I mean, it's not as if Florida State was the only team that had other struggles during the season. Honest to God, Alabama should have lost to Auburn. How Auburn allowed a 4th and 20 completion in the end zone for a touchdown. That's absurd, okay? Alabama should have lost to Auburn. In the same way, in the overtime that Texas played at Kansas State could have very easily won that game. Instead of kicking an extra point and tying and sending it to another overtime, they went for 2. They didn't get it, so give credit to Texas for that play. But it would have been so easy for Kansas State to win that game. And if memory serves me, late in the game, I believe Kansas State missed a field goal that would have won it in regulation. So it's not as if we're going to pick Texas and Alabama, because outside of their one loss, man, they really were great all year. They were not. Alabama early in the year struggled with South Florida. Struggled. Hey, are they a better team now? Well, clearly. They beat Georgia. But over the course of their season, their entire 12-game schedule, did they clearly establish that they are the 4th best team in the country? The answer is absolutely not. In the same way, did Texas clearly establish they are the 3rd best team in the country? Clearly, they did not. They're not undefeated. Florida State is. Don't waste your time with that strength of schedule stuff, because it's the outcome. In college football, it's supposed to matter what you do on the field every Saturday you play a game. And for the first time in my memory, thanks to that stupid committee, it did not. It did not. I am crestfallen for that. I can't tell you how badly I felt on Sunday to see college football go that direction of the NFL and all these other leagues where the regular season means little to nothing and it's all about the playoffs. It hurt me. And I'm going to tell you, if Jim Leland would not have been elected to the Hall of Fame, Sunday night would have been an ugly night for me. Ugly.
John, how does the NFL catch a stray here? That to me, I mean, we'll argue this till the cows come home, right? And my whole purpose in bringing this up is that, one, the sport of college football is oversaturated. If not everybody has a chance, there's no point in everybody playing D1 football. We got to quit, putting on our little kids, our powder puff gloves here, and we got to just be honest about it, right? And it's like, okay, well, next year, the highest ranked group of 5. So next year, we're going right back to the same thing, the same exact thing. It's like, well, we're going to vote on who's going to be the highest ranked group of 5. Why not let all group of 5 teams, if you win your conference championship, you get in? Like, you could just make it like the NCAA tournament. There's 10 spots right there. Oh, and by the way, our new plan for next year's 12-team expanded playoff is already botched because it's the Power 5. Where in the hell is the 5th conference? The Pac-12 dissolved in the middle of the night. And then Greg Sankey is going, oh, the Alliance is the reason. Oh, shut up. The Alliance only happened because you guys were backdoor in the middle of the night stealing Texas and Oklahoma from the Big 12 and trying to ruin that conference. Like, the SEC, to me, is the Antichrist. And the fact that this committee is on their knees regularly for that conference is pathetic. They suck, John.
I'm not going to tell you that college football is perfect. I'm not going to tell you that, okay? The biggest difference between you and I, Anthony, you keep telling me the NFL is perfect, and it is clearly not. It is flawed in a number of ways. One of the most obvious way is their overtime. Their overtime is silly.
Best overtime in sports. Best overtime in sports. Best overtime in sports.
Another time. Here's the thing. My point is this. College football used to be about what did you earn? What did you earn? And this year, for the first time, it's how did you look? How did you look? not what did you earn.
It's a beauty pageant.
The regular season in college football means more than any other sport, or it used, put it this way, I need to edit myself. It used to mean more than any other sport. You do or die with the regular season. This committee has just now officially decided that's no longer the case. That is as hurtful, if not more hurtful, than all this conference realignment stuff. And college football is a great game. It's doing that realignment stuff, in my opinion, and I may be wrong, and time will tell if I'm right or wrong. I think that's going to ruin other sports more than it is football. I think football is going to survive that just fine. I could be wrong. We'll find out.
I mean, as they should. They're the water carriers. It doesn't
now matter what you do in the regular season. It's how you look. And apparently, for Alabama, it's how you looked in your championship game. Even your regular season finale is whisked aside, which is absurd.
And reminder, Alabama barely beat Arkansas at home. They won 24-21 at home mid-season. But, we puffed up Tennessee, and LSU was always up there, and Ole Miss. And
and they're better now, Anthony. They're better now.
Ooh, Alabama?
I mean, that's why, they're better now. They beat Georgia. They're a better team. That's why I brought up the Lions to start this. Last year, the Lions were a really good team in Week 17, weren't they?
They were.
Really good team.
Yep.
But they hadn't earned a spot in the playoffs. They didn't get it. Alabama and Texas did not earn spots in the playoffs and were handed them. Shame on you, committee. Shame on you.
Wait, why does Texas not deserve to get in?
Because they have a loss during the regular season to Oklahoma. They also did not look great against Kansas.
Okay,
State.
so you put Florida State in.
To be fourth, there's got to be a one-loss team. So yeah,
right. Okay.
Let me say it this way: Texas in front of Florida State is the miscarriage of justice. How about that?
Okay, that's fair. Now we got to go, but I do want to leave you with this and something to ponder over for next week, because we have brought in a little bit of the realignment discussion here. Shout out to Jim Leland as well. The bottom 75% of the Big Ten throughout the rest of my lifetime will never play in a Big Ten championship football game. I'll leave you with that to ponder, and we'll talk about it next week. His name, John Wagner. Find him on Twitter, John Wagner Media. I can't believe we agreed on this. NFL's king, best league ever, best overtime, best rules, best criteria. We all know how you get into the playoffs. It's fantastic. John loves it too. Thank you, John.
Anthony, we did not agree on that. We only agreed that college football screwed up this week. I hope you and your listeners are able to have a cool, calm, and collected week